Welcome back to the channel. I am back at the Lebanon Auto Auction, Eastern Pennsylvania. This is a smaller public auto auction. Excellent staff, friendly staff. This is a smaller auction. It's a little bit more cozy. It doesn't take quite as long to go through and check out the cars. And the last time I was here, I pointed out some of the safest cars to buy, the most reliable cars, and a lot of positive feedback. I'm going to do it again today. I'm going to try and give you a better assortment or array or different cars than the last video to consider that are reliable and best buys at an auction like this. These are vehicles that are traded in. They're going to be higher mileage, so you really have to do your due diligence to come out here and check these out yourself, however. But let's get started. I'm anxious. It's a beautiful day today. Let's get this going. Ford, Saturn, Mercedes, anything from Cadillac, no thanks. We're going to walk right by those. I'm going to save you a headache. When we come to a Suburban, it's going to depend on what year. It is still inspected till the end of this month here, so let's look at the year. Uh, 2010. So this is after they switched over to the fuel management system, where it cuts off cylinders as you get onto the highway and cruise. Drops it down from 8 cylinders to 4. So I stay away from these. Huge engine problems. I mean, when you have them, they're catastrophic. Not only that, but you want to come over here, and as we take a look, you got the rocker panels, the lower quarter, and let's get down underneath here. You see how it's really scaly, and that could be an issue. And it's always an issue for these in the Northeast here. This is what things look like after about 15, 20 years. Does have aftermarket wheels. Everything else looks kind of straight. We do have a lot more bubbling back here. Even if it did have the engine I was interested in, it has way too much rust. It's a shame because the interior doesn't look too bad. I mean, the seats are, you could dye that and fix that. Somebody really kept it clean and took care of it, and now the radio works. We have 256,000 miles on this thing. Have a little bit of a whine from the power steering. Something you can consider when something has this high of mileage. It didn't get here without doing some type of hefty repair at some point. Timing chain, water pump, stuff like that. Alternator maybe multiple times. So when it gets to be up into the 175, 200,000 mile, 300,000 mile, all of that stuff goes out the window, and what you want to look for, signs of repair, maybe stickers under the hood, some notes from mechanics, maybe some past history records in the glove compartment or center console. Always dig, come out, look at these cars in person, and dig for information. I hope that helps. Let's keep going, see what else we can do. I see right next to us, we have a Honda, just like my minivan that I bought. I don't just spit out information for videos to make content. I practice what I preach, and you see with the vehicles I buy, I'm trying to experiment with different vehicles and also pick up vehicles that are reliable. So this one here is a 2012, mine's a 2011. This is very similar. Mine's in a little better shape. We're going to see how many miles are on it. It is inspected to next year, but this has the 3.5 liter V6 that's excellent. Now they do have they do have 2 or 3 weaknesses that need to be looked over, but these are nothing compared to other vehicles on the market. Say take the Ford Aerostar or Dodge Plymouth Voyager or Grand Caravan. I wouldn't recommend those, but I could recommend that for sure. Let's take a walk around. We have just some minor dings here and there. The corners. That's not too bad. We have a little bit of, we have a boo-boo going on there. This is probably going to go for between, well, I got to see the mileage first. There's the prop for the hood. This is even the same color as mine. They normally have, all of them have this edge peeling up here. My seats are in a little bit better shape. Let's hop on in here, see what the mileage is. So we're looking at 209,000 miles. This is probably still going to go between 4,000 and 5,000. These fetch a premium because they are so reliable. All cars, doesn't matter how reliable they are, they all come with baggage. You know, one way or another. They all have a series of problems. Let's take this one for instance. Charging system problems. There's a drain on some of these, and some you can't figure out where the drain is coming from, and you come out and the battery's dead. For me, I just turned off all the automatic stuff, lighting, interior stuff. There's a cooler in here to keep your drains cool. Make sure all of that stuff is off, and don't put your light switch on auto, and that had solved the problem for me. Also, these doors. We're going to check out these sliding doors. But they're cable driven, and sometimes the cable snaps, and there are issues with that. They're a little bit weak. The transmission, you want to service these. They're okay. Transmissions are okay in these, but you want to service them every 20 to 30,000 miles. There's an external filter. There's a canister filter to take care of on these, but you can do a drain and fill every 20,000 miles. So it's very rare that both sides open by pressing the buttons. Let's make sure it's unlocked first. Let's hit the open. And that works. Here you have a track. Here you have the cable with the track. That's the main track. And here you have a third track. And all of these need to be serviced. All right, so let's see if it closes with this button. And to service them, I'm going to do a dedicated video on all minivans. But this one here, this panel, can easily be removed. There's a bolt here. A bolt here, a bolt there. You take that off, and that exposes the main track where you can service the cable and the main portion of the track. Let's go to the other side, see if that, well, we can actually hit that open button from over here. Good, good, good. All right, so let's see if it closes with this button here. All right, so definitely one I would recommend as reliable. And everything looks good. Suzuki's for me, I haven't covered many, but they are like Kias. They're like 50-50, hit or miss. One you can pick up, it'll last for a long time. And let's see how many miles they got up on this one. And some of the other ones have problems all throughout the whole, what's going on here? I can't get the key to work. There we go. 136,000. That's not a whole lot. It doesn't sound very good. I'd say there's just a whole slew of cheaper problems with these, and they're just not worth the time. So this would fall under do not recommend. Cadillacs with the North Star system, no way. And then you can see that's a huge problem right there. Skip it. Nissans, CVT transmissions, no way. I normally don't have an issue or even really an interest in Volvo either way, but I do want to cover them. Their drivetrain is reliable. You can pile on 200,000-300,000 miles on them. One thing to be thoughtful of is electronic glitches and problems. Average repair cost for a 680 like this is about $750. That's not crazy bad. So you can consider this. Just look into it. Come here, check it out. And look for all the things and the red flags that I teach you on a daily basis. Chrysler cars, minivans, skip. Horrible drivetrain and motor. And it's inspected till next year. That's one thing you want to look out for. They run forever if you maintain them. This one seems to be in pretty good shape. It's just a little dirty. Let's see how many miles are on it. Keys on the floor. So we're looking at 218,000. Now it runs rough. It has a horrible noise to it. Seems like it's missing, and the engine light's on, so this you want to skip. This you would want to move on to the next one. And it hasn't been serviced, so this hasn't been taken care of. Move on. Even though this is reliable for the most part, this is one that is problematic because it hasn't been maintained properly. This could probably turn out to be one of the more reliable vehicles on the lot, 88 to 99. This has the 5.7 liter Vortec, crazy workhorse reliable engines, and they're always going to be attached to a body that is dented, beat up, rusted. As long as the frame and the underneath of the bed isn't rusted, I would still consider, because of how reliable they are. Now this one's beat up on the inside as well. Got 175,000 miles. Starts right up. Purrs like a kitten. Does have a service engine light, so that would have to be looked at. This is probably before the OBD2 port, so consider that. I like the way these older trucks look. They just still hold up. Just looking like a workhorse and a badass truck. And these are just crazy reliable. That's why they still turn up on the auction lots, and they will still, this thing is beat up as it is, it's still going to get some good money for it. So take that into consideration. You can pile up 300,000 miles on these easily. Just look for signs of maintenance, that it was well taken care of. I'm looking up here at the front corner of the windshield for a maintenance sticker that the oil has been serviced. I don't see any, but that doesn't mean it hasn't. Sometimes they keep track of that under the hood, so you want to open the hood and look for the signs. I'm going to get to a vehicle where I'll show you what I look for under the hood. There are plenty more vehicles here that I do recommend, but we do have a great assortment today, a bigger assortment than we had for the last video. So this will give you an idea of what's here, what's reliable, and what I would consider. All right, so this is a Lincoln here. Lincoln, Mercury Grand Marquis, Ford Crown Vic have the Panther platform. You know what I feel about them, crazy reliable. It's just that we're getting to a point where parts might be starting to get hard to find because of the age. We're approaching 25 years old for these. The inspection will be running out. And this does have aftermarket stuff, which I'm not a fan of, including the exhaust. Let's give her a shot. So yeah, we have the aftermarket exhaust. We have switches here. We have, I don't know what's going on there, but no, I'm going to skip this because I don't like when things have been fiddled with, especially this one, but I do love the Panther platform. So again, that's Lincoln Town Car, Mercury Grand Marquis, and your Ford Crown Victoria of the early 2000s. Highly, highly recommended. This has just under 200,000 miles. You can double that easily if it's maintained and not customized. The V6 engines in these, no. Transmissions in those. Is this the 5.6 liter? Yeah, so this has the traditional 7 or 8 speed automatic. All right, happy I stumbled upon this. This is a Nissan, and some of the smaller ones have the CVT transmission, so you stay away from those. But the larger ones, like the Nissan Armadas, 5.6 liter, the hyped up Nissans, which are Infinities like the Q56 and Q80s, have the same 5.6 liter, which is great. It's an excellent motor. One problem, and they do have a more modern, traditional 7 or 8 speed transmission that normally is pretty good if you service them. However, catalytic converter problems. The converter breaks down, the engine takes those bits and pieces from the converter, sucks it back up into the engine, and your engine is ruined completely. Engine out, repair, $6,000–7,000. No thanks, I stay away from them. I did have 2 QX80 Infinities and a smaller Infinity wagon. I did not hold on to them long because of the fear of that I couldn't get out of my head. Hope that helps. When it comes to Porsche, I have a dedicated video on which ones to consider and which ones to walk away from. This one has a problem. We can't close the back hatch here. Does look like it's on an okay shape, but it hasn't been inspected in about 1.5 years, 2 years, so that's a concern. Triton engine, absolutely not, pass. Kia, I've had a few of those now, and they've been on the channel. That's hit or miss. It's a 50-50 shot. Completely up to you. I would recommend staying away from them. This one will probably turn out to be one of my favorite on the lot. This is a Toyota Venza. Let's look for the year. oh, 2012. And these here will absolutely run forever. They are super reliable. Let's see, how many miles do we have? Any? It's 181,000. No lights on the dash. That's good. I'm going to run through and make sure the AC works and everything else works. The Toyota Venza will probably turn out to be my favorite on the lot, and the one that I will have number one on my list. I like the way they look. I like their style. They have room. They have a little bit of luxury. They have a little bit of crossover SUV into them. They have a little bit of everything, which I like. And just crazy, super reliable, everything about them. Now, they do have their small quirks. And if I pick this up, we'll go over all of those little quirks and little tiny problems, but not a problem that's going to cause you $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 at a time. If you see a Toyota Venza at a lot, at an auction yard, stop, take a look at it, and consider it. Great cars. So the concern on this one is it hasn't been inspected in about a year and a half, and there is a crack in the windshield, which can get expensive. We have some damage down here. Now, you want to get underneath there and make sure that it hasn't gotten to the radiator support. Everything else looks okay. Interior's just a little bit slightly worn, but I like the piping. Again, this is going to be at the top of my list. I have to look into it further. Let's pop the hood, and I'll show you what I look for under there. So the Venza is going to have either a 2.7 liter four-cylinder or a 3.5 liter V6, and this is the one that you would prefer to have. So that's a good sign there. We have a AAA battery in here. Doesn't look like anything's been monkeyed with. Let's check the oil. Has a nice golden tinge to it. That looks good. Crack open the cap, make sure there's no milky froth. I'll have to get something to open that up. You want to open that up, turn it over, make sure there's no milky froth on there. Check all of the fluids that you can. Look for brake fluid. If it's stick shift, look for clutch fluid. Look for your coolant bottle. But so far, so good. Again, Toyota Venza, put it on your go look at it now list. Jeep, absolutely not. Horrible engines. So here is an older Honda, so it would be 2009 or older version of the one we looked at today in mine. So we're not going to go over it, but this one here is actually even rated higher in reliability. So highly recommend that one. Hyundai Velociraptor, stay away from them. Horrible transmission problems. Two more I want to show you. The platform of the Buick Century, Buick LeSabre, anything with a 3.8 liter V6. Is going to be highly recommended because they are bulletproof. This one only has 76,000 miles on it. Inspected till next year. Tires are good, in good shape all the way around. Look at that interior. That's nice. That is pretty damn good. Let's fire this thing up. This would be one I would highly recommend if you can get over the old fogey look. AC works. Aftermarket stereo that works. Does say low coolant. That's a red flag there. You want to check and see if there's any leaks. Look underneath, look up top. It's easy to find a coolant leak, but they are more important than any other leak. So let me go over something when it comes to leaks, and I'm going to cover this further in a dedicated video. Engine oil leaks. If you have a small spot on the ground the size of a dime or smaller, not crazy to worry about, or you're not even going to see a sign on the dipstick that you're losing oil because a drop, a little tiny drop, and if it's a little moist underneath, it's going to be a gasket. It could be an O-ring. It could be seals. It's if you see a puddle under there the size of a volleyball or larger is when you really want to be concerned. If you see motor oil that's either just moist underneath there or a small drop, no big deal. If you see the same within a transmission, they can become a problem in more of a hurry than an engine leak because of the pressure, and then because of the heat and pressure, any coolant leak is going to be a no-no for me. And then when it comes to front rear diff and transfer case, those types of leaks they're normally slow, and you have plenty of time to take care of the issue. But the Buick Century and the Buick LeSabre, that platform with the 3.8 liter V6, highly recommended. Let's go to the last one of the day here. That's going to be a Subaru, especially Subaru Outback. I think this one isn't, yeah, this one isn't an Outback here. So it is inspected for another month. Probably going to be high mileage. You can't get any more reliable than that, and then having the combination of bad weather reliability, being an all-wheel drive, and they are great in inclement weather. This looks good so far. Let's look inside. All right, we have the key. It looks pretty good. It doesn't look, just needs to be detailed. Mileage 134, 817. Starts right up. Subaru Outback, 134,000 miles, in decent shape. This is going to get decent money, between 5,000 and 7,000 here in my area. So definitely, I highly recommend. So today was great. You got to see a huge array of cars I recommend. The next 2 times I come here, I'm going to get videos of those that I don't recommend and why. And we're going to go into great detail with that, so it helps you out. I don't want you to buy a headache or something that's going to put you in a bind a couple weeks or a couple months later. So I hope this helps. This has been Brian from Apex Auction Car Reconditioning. If I haven't mentioned your car, stay tuned. I'll get to it. I'm going to keep coming every week, and there's always a huge circulation or turnaround of cars, and we can cover them all. Have a great week, and I'll catch you in the next video.